Does it get any better than a full day of baseball, especially on a Saturday? I don't think so. This is Krusty Case here from the Goldways Network coming with the slate preview for June 1st. Before we hop into this one, I want to remind everybody that you can get all these odds at FanDuel Sportsbook. Without further ado, let's hop right into this slate. The first one on this slate is the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. This is Mitch Keller versus Yusei Kikuchi. For me in this one, I'm not a big Kikuchi guy, just not a guy I like to back. I think it's a good spot for him though. You get a Pirates team who, as we've talked about on the road, metrics are night and day from their home metrics. I really think that he could find some success here against this team. So I like Toronto in some capacity. I'm going to do a Kikuchi player performance double. So we're going to go with the Kikuchi. It'll likely be like 6 strikeouts, 6 Ks, and a Toronto money line. Should be close to even money. I really like that. So the Pirates over the last 2 weeks, last 30 days, they have a K percent of about 30%, close to 30% against lefties. So over the last 2 weeks, it's come down a little bit. It's like 27%. But particularly on the road, as we've talked about, the splits are horrible. So I really like Kikuchi to get his Ks here. It's a great matchup for him. And they're just flat out not really hitting lefties right now either. So it's a great spot for him to just really pitch deep in this game, find a ton of success. On the other side, Mitch Keller, he's looked a lot better in his last few starts. I'll give him that. And this is a spot where I think he can pitch pretty well, truthfully, because Toronto, as we've seen, their bats are very hot and cold, on a game-to-game basis. So even when you see in the metrics that, they're hitting right-handed pitching pretty well, it's tough to trust that fully, but I trust Kikuchi to pitch well here. So I like Toronto. Like I said, we're going to roll with Kikuchi, 6 Ks and a win. And I expect Toronto to get this one done for us. Our next one is the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Baltimore Orioles. This is Taj Bradley versus Kyle Bradish. So Baltimore, minus 165 favorite here. It's like I said, it's always tough to lay these heavy favorites. I'm gonna roll with the first 5 under here. I like Taj Bradley a lot. Probably one of my favorite young pitchers in baseball, and I'm a pretty big fan of Kyle Bradish as well. So give me those two guys to hold these lineups in check. Orioles obviously hitting very well right now, not as good against righties, so I think Taj can at least find some success in the first 5, and he's likely going to be in there for 5 innings anyway. So let's back these 2 starters to deal early on and keep this one low scoring. In terms of Ks, I like Bradish over his strikeouts, depending what they are. Don't love it, but would lean that way. Taj, I'm probably passing. This Orioles team's been super tricky at home. So as much as I'd say there are a few targets in this lineup, it's not enough for me to jump on this one personally. Our next one is the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the New York Mets. This is Blake Walston versus Sean Manaea. I'm going to roll with the Mets here. Obviously, the Mets, bit of a poverty franchise right now. We all know that. But we backed them the other day, and it paid off for us. I'm going to back him again here. Walston's kind of like a starter, opener type situation. He went 3 2/3 his first outing. I believe 4 2/3 the last one. So it looks like they want him to try and get him to around 5 innings, depending on how well he pitches. His stuff just hasn't really impressed me a ton. Against the Dodgers, he had 2 runs in just, like I said, the 3 2/3 innings. Looked good against the Marlins, but, take that for what it is. I like the Mets to be able to, get some guys on here. And as opposed to earlier in the season where the Diamondbacks were crushing lefties, they've really cooled off quite a bit. So the biggest concern here, obviously, is if Manaea starts walking guys again. But his leash has gotten progressively shorter, in my opinion. And I think that if, any real signs of trouble in the 4th or 5th inning, I could see him getting pulled out of this one pretty quick. So I do like the Mets to get this one done. We're going to have to rely on their offense. I know it's a scary premise, but I think they can get some runs here off of Walston. Our next one is Chicago White Sox taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. This is Garrett Crochet versus Robert Gasser. Brewers are favored in this game. They're at home. White Sox are bad. We all know that. I'm going to the White Sox plus a half a run in the first 5. We've been playing this with Crochet, I believe, every start, and it just continues to print for us. This guy, if you're not paying attention, you should be. He leads all the advanced metrics of all starting pitchers in all of baseball. He is outstanding. Gets a Brewers team who, as we know, really struggle against lefties, especially these power lefties. So I really think Crochet deals here. Like him to keep this Milwaukee team in check. Likely, I wouldn't be surprised if they have 0 runs after 5. And the White Sox, they probably don't score either, but that's fine. We got the plus a half a run. We're going to cash. I love this spot for him. Our next one is the Detroit Tigers taking on the Boston Red Sox. It's Reese Olson versus Cooper Criswell. I'm going to roll the Tigers here. I love Reese Olson. Great pitcher. Looked really good this year. He gets 0 run support, unfortunately. But I feel like Cooper Criswell could be that guy to solve that problem for the Tigers. I think they can get some runs here. We've all seen Criswell pitch. He kind of goes as long as he's pitching well, and then they turn over to that Bernardino out of the bullpen once things start to go haywire. Well, let's see if the Tigers can make things go haywire here. You know, they're quietly hitting right-handed pitching a lot better than they were earlier in the season. And Cooper Criswell is one of those guys where I really think they can get to him, and it's going to be a welcome change after having to deal with Tanner Houck in the previous game. Reese Olson, like I said, love him to pitch well here. Love the Tigers on the money line at plus money. I think it's a great price. And like I said, I just think Tigers, in my opinion, are the better team, truthfully, overall. I like their lineup better. I like their pitching staff better. They have one of the best bullpens in all of baseball. So give me the Tigers on the money line. They get this one done. Our next one is the Minnesota Twins taking on the Houston Astros. This is Joe Ryan versus Framber Valdez. This line to me, when I saw this, Houston minus 125 on the money line. Framber has not been Framber. If you've been watching, he's been getting hit up quite a bit. Sinkers getting tagged, a lot of hard contact. Joe Ryan has been exceptional on the road. I'm going to go with the Twins solely because, I mean, the Houston lineup scares me, don't get me wrong. But Framber, if you've been watching, he's throwing a sinker like 60% of the time, which, I mean, that's pretty normal. I think he threw it last year around like 55%, so it's up a hair. But the difference this year compared to last year is last year he was getting it down and like out of the zone consistently, and it was really hard for guys to get to. Like it was, you know, it would start in the zone and kind of dip off, and it was getting a lot of guys to like, you know, hit the top of the ball and just a lot of weak contact. The difference this season, if you've been watching, he's leaving it up a lot more. A lot of times it's starting in like more of like in the middle of the zone and dipping to the bottom of the zone, and it's getting absolutely tagged. I believe in his last start against Seattle, like the first 5 or 6 balls put in play were over 100 mile per hour exit velo. I mean, so he's getting up a lot of hard contact. I like the Twins here. Like I said, Joe Ryan on the road has just been outstanding. Gets a Houston team who, I mean, they're hitting definitely, but I like Joe Ryan, and I'm gonna keep riding with the fact that he just, you know, he gets run support. It's insane. And B, like I said, on the road, he's just been absolutely lights out. So give me the Twins on the money line. They're a dog here, and I love it.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one is the Oakland Athletics taking on the Atlanta Braves. It's Aaron Brooks versus Chris Sale. Sorry, I had a chuckle because I was looking at the prices of this as I was pulling it up. Braves are minus 300. And I mean, I 100% understand it. Okay, it's Oakland. It's Chris Sale. I mean, this is a no-brainer, right? I'm going to be careful with how I back the Braves here, solely because there is zero value in a player performance double with a minus 300 money line. And I mean, I'm not laying juice at a minus 1.5. That's insane. So we're going to roll with the Braves team total. Aaron Brooks is a guy who pitched in the majors, I believe, in 2021, took a few years off, went to KBO, came back. Now he's in the league kind of because Oakland needs him to be. Throws a lot of off speed, a lot of junk ball type stuff. And this Braves team is really scuffling. This is a guy, in my opinion, that it's almost like a get right spot for them because you get a guy who he's not going to overwhelm you. He's not going to blow you away at velo. These guys can sit on some of these off speed pitches that this guy throws, and I really think he can get tagged here. So I'm going to go with the Braves team total. I think they can crush whatever it is. And then in terms of like a prop, I love Chris Sale's outs, his strikeouts. This is a great spot for him. Great spot. Our next one is the San Diego Padres take on the Kansas City Royals. This is Joe Musgrove versus Alec Marsh. I like the over. Alec Marsh is one of those guys who we've talked about a few times. I think he's a major regression candidate. This Padres team just dangerous, man. You look at this lineup, you know, with Rise really starting to hit. You know, he's getting on consistently, and the guys behind him are just absolute thumpers. So I like them to put up some runs, and on the other side, I like Kansas City to put up runs. They're mashing right now, quietly top 10 against right-handed pitching. And Musgrove is a certified turkey tosser. Might even lead the list, truthfully, this season. Ton of hard contact. His stuff is just not what it was. The curveball used to be one of the best ones in baseball. Now it's like, bottom probably 20 or 30 in all of baseball. This guy is just due to get tagged. So give me the over here. I like a ton of runs in this one. I think both these pitchers struggle. Our next one is the Texas Rangers taking on Miami Marlins. This is Michael Lorenzen versus Ryan Weathers. I like Ryan Weathers a little bit. I don't think he's as good as he's pitched, but hey, maybe he's starting to figure something out. Michael Lorenzen, not a guy I have any interest in backing. Texas minus 135 in my line. No real interest for me here. I'm going to go with Miami Marlins team total. Lorenzen, we know they're going to leave him out there for probably 6 innings. And Miami is hitting right-handed pitching extremely well. So I like the spot for them to get to Lorenzen. The team total will likely be like 3.5 is my guess, because they're the dog and total's 8.5. So 3.5 team total. I'm on that over 3.5. Even if it's 4.5 plus money, I'd consider it, truthfully. I like them to put up some runs here. Our next one is the Washington Nationals taking on the Cleveland Guardians. This is Mitchell Parker versus Blake Lively. Give me the Guardians here. So Ben Lively pitched for the Reds like 2 seasons ago. He's been in the league this year now, pretty much the whole year. He's looked decent. Washington, not a team that I'm really afraid of, truthfully. So I like the Guardians here, especially getting Kwon back. He just, the straw that stirs the drink, And Mitchell Parker, he's looked pretty good. This is a team, though, Cleveland Guardians, they are striking out a bit more than they were in previous seasons, but still a high-contact team overall. And putting the ball in play and forcing this kid to work, I just think he struggles here. So I like the Guardians. Money line's minus 150. If you're not comfortable laying that, I think it's a good parlay piece. Like I said, I like them to win here. In terms of props, I don't love anything in this one, truthfully. Don't love the case for either guy, over or under. Just a little too volatile for me in this matchup. So I'm just going to roll with the Guardians here. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that new users can bet $5 at FanDuel on any of the bets in this video and win $150 in bonus bets if the bet wins. Now let's get back to the bets. Our next one is the Los Angeles Angels taking on Seattle Mariners. This is Reed Detmers versus Bryce Miller. I'm going to go with the Bryce Miller, likely 5 or 6 Ks, and the Mariners money line. I love the Mariners here. Not really hitting lefties that well, so obviously that's a concern. But Reed Detmers is a guy who historically, they've seen a ton, and I like them to kind of do some damage here. I think they can get a couple runs for us, and I think that'll be more than enough. Bryce Miller's been really good, especially at home. These Seattle starters are just outstanding. So give me the Seattle, like I said, Bryce Miller, 5 or 6 Ks, whatever it is. And the Mariners money line should get you close to even money, and I'm all in on that. I couldn't talk anybody off of Detmers Ks either, though. Seattle pretty much makes any lefty they face look like a world beater. So definitely not against his Ks either in this spot. Our next one is the Cincinnati Reds taking on Chicago Cubs. This is Hunter Green versus Justin Steele. And I'm going to roll with the first 5 under here. Hunter Green's been pitching really well. This Cubs team really scuffling at the plate right now, as we've seen, struggling to generate runs. And Hunter Green, he's just been on another level, truthfully. He's looked really good. And I think he mows down this Cubs lineup, truthfully. They've struggled with high velo all season, struggled with whiffs big time. Hunter Green, as we've seen, he added a curveball. And if I'm not mistaken, this is their first time this season seeing him. So the first time seeing him since he made the changes to his pitch mix. And I just think he absolutely deals here. Justin Steele on the other side, I like him too. Reds against lefties, not nearly as bad as righties. But they haven't seen a ton of good lefties. So this feels like a spot where Steele, he's a guy who works in and out really well. You're facing a Reds team who doesn't swing a ton. So if he's getting a lot of called strikes, working the corners and stuff, he could easily rack them up too. I like both these guys here. So first 5 under. I think these guys, both spin some gems here. Our next one is the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. This is Sonny Gray versus Ranger Suarez. Sonny Gray's been outstanding. We all know that. This is just a brutal spot, in my opinion. He's looked really good. The breaking ball is outstanding. When he gets guys with 2 strikes, he's finishing those at-bats at like a rate of 58% as a strikeout, which is insane. So I do like his Ks here to an extent, because the Phillies, they are a team who's going to see some pitches. So I do believe they can get some 2-strike counts. Ultimately, Sonny Gray covers Ks. But I really do think he gets tagged here a bit. This Phillies team just scorching hot. and it's hard to not back them. Ranger Suarez coming off a start where he still went 6 innings, but just didn't have his best stuff. Really like him to bounce back here. Getting the Phillies at a super playable -140, I think that has a lot to do with Sonny Gray being on the other side and not so much the Cardinals lineup. So I'm going to take the Phillies on the money line here at -140. I can't believe it's playable. Don't think it'll be playable for long, honestly. I expect to get upwards of -150, by the time the first pitch is. Next one is the New York Yankees taking on San Francisco Giants. This is Cody Poteet versus Logan Webb. I love backing Logan Webb at home. I'm not going to do it here. Instead, I'm going to opt for the first 5 under, another game where I like these guys to pitch well. Poteet getting called up from AAA. He's made 1 start this season in the majors. Looked really good. I like him to pitch well here. Giants obviously swinging a little bit, but this is a guy they're not super familiar with. So I do believe he can pitch well. Logan Webb at home, it's just a guy you got to back. So give him the first 5 under. I like these teams to keep this thing low scoring. Should be a lot of ground balls from the Yankees. Obviously, Logan Webb, biggest thing for him is the command. Got to be able to throw strikes. So assuming he can throw strikes, I think we see a low scoring one here. Don't love either guy's Ks personally. Just not a matchup I'm really targeting. But I like the first 5 under a lot. Our next one and our final one on the slate is the Colorado Rockies taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is Cal Quantrill versus Yoshi Yamamoto. This is the craziest money line price I think I've ever seen. -340 opening line. So knowing the Dodgers, they're going to be super public. It's going to probably close at -400, which is absolutely insane. A full game under. Cal Quantrill has been really good. I don't know what he's done. You look at his pitch mix, everything. Nothing has really changed, but he's pitching extremely well. And this Dodgers team, while they're the Dodgers, and I respect them, they're inconsistent. And so Cal Quantrill, I'm going to trust him to generate all the ground balls he's been generating and keep this team in check. It's going to be a terrifying thing, but even in my opinion, if Cal gives up a few runs, I think Yoshi shuts down this Rockies team. So, we could see a game. I believe the total is 7.5. So we could see maybe like a 5-0 Dodgers, worst case scenario in my opinion. But I think this thing goes under. I like both guys to pitch well. I like Yoshi K's here. I think it's a great spot. He has not seen the Rockies yet, which I always like that, especially for these new guys who there isn't a ton of tape on them. So I like Yoshi to pitch well. I like this game to go under, and hopefully we get a duel here. That does conclude our slate, though. You guys do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys are playing. I will drop the recap for the previous day in the comments of this next video, and we'll just keep doing it that way. Had a great day 2 nights ago, hoping tonight is the same thing. As always, you can get all my official plays at goldboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, guys.